Hi, my name is Liz Joseph and I am the Extension Livestock Agent with Cumberland County Cooperative Extension. Today I'm going to go through how to put together a PVC feeder for your chickens. So first you have to start with your material list. So I'm going to go through what you need and then we'll talk about all of those things a little bit. You will want to get a 10-foot long PVC Schedule 40 or sewer pipe. You will cut that in half and so you'll have two pieces, so one 10-foot pipe will give you 2 feeders. You can get 4-inch diameter or a 3-inch diameter. I found that the 3-inch diameter pipe works better with the crumbles and the 4-inch diameter pipe works better if you feed pellets. Now, I mentioned Schedule 40 and sewer pipe. Schedule 40 is a little bit thicker, a little bit more expensive, maybe a little bit more durable. You'll get a longer pipe out of it when you cut it in half because it's straight the whole way across. If you choose to get a sewer pipe, it has a bell on the end and you will want to cut that bell off before you cut it in half. Depending on if you choose to do Schedule 40 versus a sewer pipe, you just want to make sure you get the appropriate fittings. A Schedule 40 fitting will not fit well with the sewer pipe. So you need to make sure that if you get Schedule 40 pipe, you get Schedule 40 fittings, and same with if you get a sewer pipe, you want to get sewer fittings. So we went over your 10-foot pipe. Then you also need to get some angles and some attachments. So this is a 45. This is showing a regular 45. Ideally, you would have a street 45, and I'll show you why in a second. You also need a 90. This is a street 90. And the reason it is a street 90 is because of the way it's shaped. So ideally, we would have also a street 45. But we're gonna fix that with our cap. You also wanna get 3 caps. So if you're doing a Schedule 40, your cap will look like this. And if you're doing your sewer pipe, it'll be a little bit shorter. You need 3 because you want 2 caps to go on top of your open end of your pipe at the top of it to prevent any animals or dust or bugs to getting into your feed. And then your other one, the third one, you will cut in half to put at the bottom of the feeder to prevent feed from falling out. You also need to get hanger iron. So all of this material that I've talked about so far is usually found in the plumbing section of any hardware store. So the hanger iron is actually going to help keep the feeders up and so they stay up off the ground. In addition to the hanger iron, you also need some screws to attach the hanger iron to your PVC pipe and then also to your piece of wood. You're going to glue your fittings onto your pipe. So you want to get PVC primer as well as PVC cement. I would recommend getting the one that is separate. You can find it to where you have the primer and cement in one, but I find that this separate primer and cement work a little bit better. But you do have to be really quick when you're working with this because it dries quickly. The screw that you're going to use that will attach your hanger iron to your pipe is going to be a 1/2-inch screw. And then the screw that will attach your hanger iron to the wood. So this screw should be about 1 inch long. The biggest thing is you need to make sure that they both have heads on them that are big enough that they won't fall through the holes of the hanger iron. Now we can get started putting things together. We've already cut our pipe in half. You want to always do a dry fitting before you use your PVC glue to get everything together. You want to make sure everything's going to line up and look good. So we have our PVC pipe cut. We're going to use the cut end to attach our fittings to because it's a little bit rougher and doesn't look as pretty. So our first one is going to be our street 90. And so if we were putting our PVC primer and cement on, we would add the primer first on the outside and then our cement on the outside. And then we would do it on the inside of the fitting. We will fit it on. And if you were actually attaching it with the PVC primer and cement, you would want to give it a little bit of a twist and really feel it lock it in. And now the reason that we want a street 90 is because once we put the 45 on, it's gonna actually provide a much smoother spot for the feed to come out, and there won't be any areas where the feed can get stuck. If that feed gets stuck, it can get old and moldy and nasty, and so we wanna be able to prevent that. So next we put our 45 on the end, just like that. And then last but not least, we'll use our cap. So if we had a street 45, this cap would fit on nicely. But because we just have a regular 45, this cap is gonna sit just inside. And that cap is gonna prevent any feed from falling out. And again, you would want to primer and glue that in. And once you have your primer and glue and all of your pieces on, you wanna let it sit overnight to make sure that everything is set properly. When you're doing your dry fittings, I would suggest that you draw some lines with like a Sharpie or something to make sure that once you get your PVC primer on and everything, you can line those lines back up and everything will look great. Once you have your feeder made and the spot decided where you want to put it up, that's when you will attach it to your wood. This is a I think this is a 1x4 or 1x6. So this would be behind your feeder. And then you would have your hanger iron. Makes it a little bit easier if you have help while you're doing this. You want to make sure that you can wrap that hanger iron around your pipe so it fits nice and snug. You would put a screw over here, one of the short screws here to hold that hanger iron and make sure that this doesn't fall, and then another one over there. When you are deciding where to position your feeders, you want to have the actual feeders about 6 to 12 inches apart and about 4 to 6 inches off of the ground for the opening. Chickens are very inquisitive. If you add your feeders and put the feed in there, they will find it. They will go and investigate and they will figure out where that feed is. You need this cap at the end to make sure the feed doesn't fall out. If you don't have that cap, they will just spill it all out on the ground. I have 4 feeders at my house in my chicken coop. They're a little bit shorter than this, and they hold almost a 50-pound bag of chicken feed. I have 19 chickens that eat off of that, and that lasts them about a week. So you have to gauge how many chickens you have based on how many feeders you have. I would say if you have 2 to 4 chickens, 1 feeder is sufficient. If you have more than that, you need more feeders. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to give me a call at the extension office. Number is 910-321-6860.